You're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny here with Barry, and even though there's a lot of basketball to talk about and digest, Barry, spring football is underway, and obviously some big-time storylines with the quarterbacks at both Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Baker Mayfield, Mason Rudolph, we know they're the starters, but what's important at OU in your mind?
Well, at OU, I mean, there's a dearth of quarterbacks. Kyler Murray's on campus, but he's ineligible, so he'll just be getting ready for the 2017 season. That means Bob Stoops has to cultivate a true freshman quarterback to be the backup. Austin Kendall from North Carolina, great prospect, but it's a little bit precarious counting on a guy who's not even gone to his senior prom yet, and that's where the Sooners are right now with the backup quarterback. Now, they do have a good model. This is exactly what happened at Baylor last year. But Jarrett Stidham came in as an early enrollee in January, became the Baylor backup. Come fall, Seth Russell gets hurt. Midway through the year, Jarrett Stidham comes on and plays very well and was an excellent fill-in. Ended up showing the signs that, hey, Baylor quarterbacking is going to be in good shape. That's what Oklahoma needs out of Austin Kendall.
Yeah, big spring for Austin Kendall. You know, this is going to be his chance to really get some reps and some snaps because, you know, this is where he can start to build that rapport that then carries over into the summer. But, you know, I think it's interesting. We're not going to see him this spring, Cody Thomas deciding to go play baseball. But when I talked to him when baseball opened practice, he said he had not closed the door on going back to football. Now, obviously, that would leave him behind, Barry. He wouldn't have this spring to be practicing. But you know what? At the end of the baseball season, if he decides he wants to go back, he could have the summer. He was that backup guy when last year ended. I don't know how that factors in. I don't have any great knowledge as to whether he's leaning that way to go back or not go back. I think a lot depends on this baseball season. But that's another factor that we'll have to continue to watch just in terms of bodies, because right now they're just really thin on bodies. They don't have a lot of options beyond those top two guys that we know have eligibility except for walk-ons. Oklahoma State kind of in a similar situation, Barry, although slightly different because they're kind of looking for J.W. Walsh 2.0, aren't they?
Yeah, and you know, Cowboys, they have John Kolar was here last year as a freshman, so he's at least a year ahead of where Austin Kendall is. Taylor Cornelius is a walk-on that they really like, so that's sort of the guys vying for the backup quarterback situation. But you do have that Walsh package as sort of the outlier. Oklahoma State had such success with J.W. Walsh coming in as a short yardage quarterback and as a change of pace quarterback. Now, the truth of the matter is that worked really well, not because it was an interesting development or an interesting scheme. It worked because J.W. Walsh was quarterbacking it.
Yeah.
I don't know if Oklahoma State can find somebody like J.W. Walsh, a guy who is a veteran thrower and a savvy runner that doesn't necessarily fit the profiles of Kolar or Cornelius. But it's something, if this OSU running game doesn't get better, which maybe it will, maybe it won't, but if it doesn't get better, you've got to find ways to make short yardage and run the ball. That's what J.W. Walsh provided. That's sort of the dilemma that Mike Gundy finds himself this spring. If they don't get the running game going, will they have to look to a quarterback alternative to try to spark things?
Yeah, and you know, what you said about J.W. Walsh is so right because, you know, you think about the success, the percentage of times he ran the ball or was in the game and either got first downs or scored. I mean, it's unbelievable just the success rate when he was on the field. And, you know, you've written in the past and we've talked in the past about Trevor Knight not having that great running instinct.
Right.
J.W. Walsh is the exact opposite. Here's a guy that the ball snapped, everything changes in front of you, and he just had a way to find a spot to run through, make yards, sometimes get in the end zone. I'm not sure that we can assume that there's anybody on campus or anybody in the state right now that has instincts like that. So that's going to be hard to grow. But it's interesting. We're gonna have a lot to watch in the quarterbacks, which, you know, when you've got your starters set, you think, well, everything's figured out. Nope. Quarterback drama this spring. We'll see how it goes as those teams really get cracking. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.